just a dice of an onion. Taylor, get out of here. I grew up eating lasagna pretty much once every 2 weeks. It was my mom's thing. Just one of those things that to me is soulful, comforting, delicious. Hi, my name's Chris Shepard. I'm at Wild Oats, chef owner of Underbelly Hospitality. We're gonna make a little mushroom lasagna today. Instead of your classic, more red saucy, big heavy meat, we're gonna make mushroom lasagna. This recipe doesn't have a whole lot of steps to it, which is great, because my mom's lasagna, way too many steps. Let's not tell her that though. We're gonna start with cremini mushrooms, and we're gonna put them into our food processor, right? This is a food processor that's got a lot of oomph to it, but if you don't have one of these, that's fine too. Chop it. You just use your hands. Sometimes that's easier, you know? This little guy's got a little twisty. And I can go faster. And that's what we're looking for right there. Just a rough chop. You can do that with your knife, no problem. Next, we're just gonna dice an onion, right? We don't have to be super fancy with it, because we're just gonna go real quick. Got our onion, our garlic, just gonna smash it, and then just give it a rough chop. I like a little bit chunkier garlic. I don't like it so pureed. Why? Because I want to know where it's at, right? You get that really small, you might end up with a little bit of burn. I like to just have a little bit of texture with it. We're good with that. We're going to go to the pan now. You ready? Let's cook. We're going to the pan, right? We've got it on high. That's what we want. We're going to add our oil, because what we want to do is start to sweat these mushrooms down, right? Get that sizzle. Now, we're not going to season them with salt and pepper right now, because they release too much liquid when you do that. So we just want them to kind of sweat down and kind of start to caramelize, if you will. We want them to release their liquid. But if we were to add salt right now, you would just start to see all of the water just leach out. And then you're just making kind of a mushroom soup. We don't want to do that yet. So we want to get as much of our liquid out as we can right now. All right, I'm going to kind of clear this middle part out. Touch of oil. And put my onions and garlic right there. Start to mix them in. Let them cook with the mushrooms. All right, so we just kind of want to knock the raw off of these mushrooms and off the onions and off the garlic, right? We've already worked these mushrooms down a little bit. I'm going to take some thyme sprigs right in. Now we're going to season with salt and pepper. And we want to do this throughout, right? We want to season it now. We want to season it later. You got to build your bases, but got to be careful too. You can always add. You can't take away, right? We have a little saying, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. We're gonna add a little bit of tomato paste right now. We just wanna get this all in, all right? Get it all mixed in and around. We want that tomato paste to cook a little bit. For something like this, you wanna this is why I like using this high side, because I wanna get in there and I wanna get it moving around. That's what you want. You're getting cooking all throughout this thing. It's not falling out everywhere. It's just cooking perfectly. See how it's gotten that nice rust color now? That's kind of what we're looking at. And don't worry about it if it starts to stick up here. That's all right. We're going to add some stock in here. We're going to deglaze this beautiful pan that we're working with. We got it simmering, but what we've done too is you want to clean this up, right? You got all that fond, all that good sticky on the bottom. Now you got your rubber spatula and you're just going to kind of like work that off of it, right? Because all of that flavor that was stuck to that pan is now in here, and you want to get it back kind of in the pool party, if you will. We're just going to let this simmer. We're going to let this liquid kind of reduce. We're gonna let this go until it starts to get dry, right? So could be 5 minutes, could be 7. You know, cooks ask me all the time, like, how many minutes till it's done? When it's done. We've let this reduce, right? We're still not quite there, but we're close. All right, we're gonna let this stop, turn it off. Just remember though, it's gonna continue to cook even though it's not on a fire, just for a minute. We're back over here. This is assembly time, but first we need to get this mushroom mix a little bit cold. And take the spatula and just move this around. We got this on a bowl of ice. It doesn't make sense that we're going from hot to cold, then trying to get it hot again, but we have to do this so that we can keep this ricotta from turning into liquid. You know, sometimes this is where I tend to go off script and off recipe, because I really want to throw a little bit of this mozzarella and this little parm. I want this to melt into it right now, and so that it gives me kind of that structure that I want in the filling, right? Because ricotta's great, but I want some cheesy pull too, you know what I'm saying? This is almost cold, it's where we want it. Take my ricotta mix, I want all of it. Take my eggs right in. Doesn't that look pretty? I think it needs just a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Remember what I said earlier, you can add, you can't take away. Now, if you want it spicy or whatever, you can put a little chili flake in here too, but I think we're good. Next up, it's time to build the lasagna in the baking dish. Now, I'm gonna take this and just put a little on the bottom, right? Just to give it a little base so that noodle starts to get that like cheesy crunch, and we're just gonna work our sheets around. Filling, you can get exact. We're gonna kind of press it down before we bake it, right? So now, a layer of cheese, more pasta, more filling, more cheese. See how I went a little lighter on the cheese on the first round, a little heavier on the second round? So I want it to just kind of fold in together. More pasta, more filling. Go ahead and tell you my mom would be proud right now. Cheese. Let's do one more, huh? We got it. Let's make it. Woo-hoo-hoo. If you don't put this in an oven on a sheet tray, you are going to find yourself with one very large mess. So I'm just going to force this down just a little bit, kind of build those layers together, smooth it out. Heavy cheese. All right, time to go in the oven, 375 on a sheet tray. We're just going to let this go for about 40 minutes until it comes together nice and bubbly golden on top. Let it rest after that for about 10 minutes, and we're good to go. It's hard for me not to just sit and stare at this thing. We call it GBD, golden brown delicious. You can use that word at any restaurant, probably get a job. Now it's time to get into it, you know? Oh man. That is perfection. Now, the reason I like using these rounded sides, like this oval, is because you get more of that crust on the side, right? You get more of that deliciousness. That's what makes this lasagna so good, right? Quite frankly, if you like the centerpiece of lasagna, I don't really want to be friends with you. I don't know if I should have to. Oh, buddy, I wish you would be here to taste this with me, but I'm glad you're not. Ricotta really comes through, perfectly seasoned, mushroomy, and it's just delicious, you know? It reminds me of my mother's, but without meat, right? We used all mushroom in this, and just a little tomato paste, not too much sauce. So that's how you make a mushroom lasagna. Super easy. I'm Chris Shepard at Wild Oats in Houston, Texas. Guys have a good one. We'll see you then. That's good.